If you've been watching me for a while, you may remember the show I made called Ugly Ships. However, after the Main Queen episode, I never had any good ideas to revive the show, but I did see lots of corrections on my video on the MV abegweit, which I've heard is how you say it. So, I've decided to redo that video. However, there will be no intro or theme for this episode, because this will be the last Ugly Ships video. So, let's dive into this ship one last time. Also, I don't care about your comments on the last video, this is an ugly ship. In the 1970s, the Canadian National Railway Company split its ferry services into a new subsidiary known as CN Marine. Their first order of business was to make a replacement for the MV abegweit, which was built in 1947. This ship would have a larger capacity and would be able to carry trains. It would be named MV Straightway, and would allow bow and stern loading, making it a roll-on, roll-off ferry. Also removing a conventional bow, which made her look very strange. She was built in St. John, New Brunswick. Before the name was announced, however, people thought that the new ship would also be named MV abegweit, so much so that the company did change the name from Straightway to MV abegweit. The original ship was sold to a marina in Chicago, who wasn't allowed to make a clubhouse for their marina, so they used the original MV abegweit for that. It still exists till this day. The new ship was launched in 1982 with an aggressive marketing campaign, sailing from New Brunswick to Prince Edward Island, where the current Confederation Bridge is today. She was 122 meters long and 21 meters wide. She had 6 meters below the waterline and could go 18 knots. She could hold 974 passengers, as well as 250 cars if fully loaded, 40 trucks if fully loaded, and 20 railway cars if fully loaded. Despite the appearance, she was not a double-ended ferry, and instead just looked like that to fit into the terminal. However, due to this, she looked very unfortunate. And she could also break ice. In 1986, the federal government renamed the company from CN Marine to Marine Atlantic. In 1989, the Prince Edward Island Railway was abandoned, and the MV John Hamilton Gray carried out the last of the railway cars off the island. The ship would now only carry cars and trucks. Shortly into her service, discussion began on building a bridge from the mainland to Prince Edward Island. In a referendum in the province, 60% of Prince Edward Islanders voted yes to the Confederation Bridge, and construction began. The MV abegweit was loved by many people on the island, and became iconic for the area. In 1997, the Confederation Bridge was completed, making the ferries obsolete. Instead of changing her route, the MV Holiday Island was used for a different route. After only 17 years, the ship was retired, and carried Marine Atlantic equipment from Prince Edward Island to North Sydney before being laid up. She was considered to be lengthened and given a traditional bow instead, which would have made her look better, but this did not happen, and she was sold to a company in Texas. She was anchored in Galveston, but nothing was done to her, and she was put up for sale on eBay for $6 million. She was bought by scrappers in India who renamed her Mariner. She sailed from Texas across the Atlantic through the Mediterranean, the Suez Canal, and the Arabian Sea before arriving in India. She was scrapped in 2004. She was truly a unique ship and was cut off too short in her life. The story has definitely shown that, although not paid attention to as much, the stories of the ferries of Eastern Canada are very interesting. Though she may have been very ugly, she was still loved by people in the area, and her story is one to be remembered. And with that, thank you for watching Ugly Ships for all these years. Sorry I couldn't make more episodes, but I think you'll like the show that I have coming up to replace this. So, for the last time, thanks for watching Ugly Ships, and see you later.